My name is José Cobos. I come from Ecuador, from a city in the middle of the Andes called Cuenca. I studied architecture in college. I studied arts and sculpture by myself, and it has been 5 years doing sculpture and now 3 years making sound as a sculpture. So I developed into being a clay luthier or a clay sound artist. In my investigation about the sound from the indigenous cultures of Ecuador and Latin America, I started because of the mysteries that they have in between whistles and also whistling bottles. And then I learned that from my country, from Ecuador, many of these cultures got to be to Mexico and interchange the knowledge about sound. And then with this, I also learned about the jaguar whistles and the dead whistles, and that's how I say like, wow, it would be very nice to have like a mask that has the jaguar whistle. I also had teachers that taught me how to do the sound, and they were starting to do the mask, so I wanted to try on my own. So this one is a double flute based in a fish, which basically has two whistles that are close to each other and stick to each other to play at the same time. So why is this characteristic of the indigenous cultures of America? It is because they realize that having the two whistles that sound very close to each other will produce a third sound, which is like a vibration. So when you play both of them, the waves of the sound crash into each other and it starts to do like, or can be like more space, like depending on how close they are or depending on the notes you play. This is a different third energy, and also this sound is called Batimento in the music, and it's supposed that Batimento can help you to get into meditative states. The dead whistle as the jaguar whistle come from the Mexican cultures, and basically how they are done is like if you build a whistle in a badly way, because normally for the whistle you are searching for the melodic sound. But when you do a bad whistle, it will start to sound like. So the thing in this one has like it's like double chambers of sound, and the first one is inside the head. As you cannot see, but here is a small sphere or a little ball that has the first chamber, and the second chamber is the skull, or normally the dead whistle is a human skull, and the jaguar whistle is normally a jaguar. So when you have this and you put your hand and close the second chamber, what it helps is to make it higher or lower pitch as you move or play. Because of its crazy, scary sound, supposedly this and the jaguar whistles were played when they were going into battle to fight the enemy, so they escaped with this sound. About the whistling bottles, it is an instrument that was developed from the Chorrera culture in Ecuador. They have had this experimentation with water that nowadays we are also taking care and doing new instruments with water, and not only the whistling bottles. So this one right here is also one experimentation about that. So this is, it could be called also a whistling bottle, but this one is like a new take on this. So what I'm basically doing is putting water into the flute. The flute that is connected here will be connected to the chamber. So when you have the water that goes inside the flute, produces funky sounds. So what it does is basically like new different sounds that it could develop to something new. So this is the owl mask that I did here in China. I think it's an animal connecting China and Ecuador as well. When I teach many students did 2 instruments in the mask, so I said this is very interesting, maybe I can do also the same, and also exercise for me to know how to make this mask more ergonomic for the face, so they are more comfortable for using. So as you may see here, in the back side, it has 2 whistles. Which this one, for example, it is just like a normal globular whistle or like ocarina. It will has just a low sound, but the difference or like the speciality I'm doing this one is that I made it a shape that can follow the shape of the mask. So in that way it will get more comfortable to be inside the mask, and it will not be in like an obstacle for the face. And then also in these ones I created this kind of little amplifying chamber, that is when is the window of the whistle is inside here, but this can help you amplify. And in this case as well, for the dead whistle that it has in the side, it has also the second chamber inside this part here. So then when you play, it will sound like this. Each one you can play different times. And the instruments of China, as the Xuin, it is like it's very close to a globular ocarina that doesn't have the blowing channel. You just play it finding the angle. So there is also this kind of instrument in Latin America. Playing these instruments that you find the angle, basically it leads you to be in a very focused and meditative state. Okay, so in the past cultures and also in the modern cultures of Ecuador, there always have been the masks and the instruments coming together and working together. Like either if it's a dance ritual, people will be wearing the mask and dancing, while other people will be playing the instrument for these people to dance. So they always have been working in parallel. So what happened for me naturally in these past years with people that is investigating all the instruments in America, like me, we started to merge these 2 things into one thing that is both a performative element and also a sound instrument. So in this case, what it happened is a merge of the culture that maybe it will nourish new things for the rites, that you can actually wear the mask that will make the sound, and it will have a higher impact in the visual and also auditively way, because you are not only seeing now the flute or the ocarina, you are actually seeing the face of the owl that sounds like the owl but also can play the sound, or you are looking the jaguar that also makes the sound of the jaguar. So I think it just was a matter of time to merge these 2 things in our culture.